Football Final, presented by Mazda.
You know we're going to start college football final with the best thing from Saturday, and that would be the best comeback. Lovie Smith, Illinois down 31-10 to start the fourth quarter against Michigan State. And here come the Illini. Brandon Peters to Josh Imatorbhebhe. Stiff arm gone.
This Illinois team started the season 2-4. Now they've won 3 in a row. They're going to need a big fourth quarter if they're going to make it 4 in a row.
You got to make the comeback. So Imatorbhebhe, the touchdown. Later in the fourth, Illinois down 7. Michigan State 3rd and 10. Brian Lewerke pick.
If you're going to come back, you got to make plays on defense with takeaways. Lovie Smith, defensive-minded coach, right? They had 4 takeaways in this game. Here at pick 6. Illinois wouldn't miss the extra point and remain down by 1.
Come on, Sidney Brown. There's your score. Later, 34-30. 4th and 16. Peters to Imatorbhebhe. A contestant grab extends the drive inside the 20. Later in the drive, 2nd and goal. Peters is going to scramble and find Daniel Barker.
And Peters had a big day, 369 yards passing, 3 touchdowns as Illinois scored 27 points in the fourth to go.
Come on, Lovie Smith. Come on, Lovie. 37-34 the final. The first time in the past 40 seasons, Michigan State lost a game in which they led by 21 points entering the fourth quarter. In fact, Sparty is only the 4th Big Ten team to lose that kind of lead over that span, the first since Northwestern in 2006 against Michigan State. And isn't it fitting here on College Football Final that a day we've been waiting for quite some time? We start with that. Illinois and Michigan State. Hi, hello, Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Barrie alongside. We've pointed to Week 11 for one reason and one reason only. We knew what was at stake down in Tuscaloosa between LSU and Alabama. It was the AP 1 and 2. It was the CFP 2 and 3, which is all that matters. President Trump in attendance. Joe Burrow, remarkable season to this point. Tua back, had ankle surgery just 20 days ago on Alabama's first drive of the game, 3rd and goal from the 8. Tua literally just drops the ball.
Yeah, and they march right down the field. First drive, you're watching this and you're thinking, Tua's ankle looks fine. He just inexplicably drops the ball, his first fumble loss this season.
So Ray Thornton recovers on LSU's opening drive. Joe Burrow put on an absolute clinic.
Yeah, he just started this game 10 for 10. And we talked about this Alabama defense not being the same. Joe Burrow starts the game off really good.
So a touchdown to Jamar Chase, 7-0 early lead. Second quarter, Tua over the middle, picked off by Patrick
Less than
Queen.
30 seconds to go, right? 2-minute drill. You want to be aggressive. I like the mentality by Steve Sarkisian, but if you're Tua, you can't throw the ball blind over the middle of the field.
No, and that's a good point. You talk about now ensuing drive before the half. Look at the clock. Burrow to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Touchdown, 14 points, final 30 seconds.
And it's a great throw against a zone defense, Alabama. They play a lot of man-to-man, but in this situation, chose to go zone. Joe Burrow's found the soft spot.
All right, let's pick it up. Fourth quarter, they've closed it within 6, has Alabama, and then pressure, gets it to Edwards-Helaire, fights his way for the first down. Later in the drive, Jesse, Edwards-Helaire, he was just so big and
How about Edwards-Helaire in this game? Catching the football, that last catch on 3rd and 10. Here, rushing 4 total touchdowns for him. It's the most a Nick Saban-coached Bama defense has ever given up to one player. Watch this. Bama's leading tackler, Xavier McKinney, has a chance, but he can't bring down number 22.
So 2-point conversion fails. Next drive for Alabama. It's 4th and 4, and Tua finds Devontae Smith 9 yards and a first.
And this is what they do well. It's that slant route. It's tough to cover these quick wide receivers, and Tua puts it on his body in traffic.
So back against the wall, again a 4th down. They converted 1. Can they do it 4th and 2? Tua to Jerry Jeudy in the
Jeudy
corner.
dropped 2 touchdown passes in this game, but the reigning Biletnikoff Award winner with the game on the line makes the biggest play.
All right, so under 3 minutes to go, 3rd and 2. This probably the biggest play call of the game.
Yeah, and Alabama's defense expecting LSU to run the clock. There was 27 seconds left on the play clock. When they snapped it, caught them off guard. Big first down.
Quick huddle, quick play. Edwards-Helaire again shakes it off. This kid is tough.
Over 100 yards rushing against Florida, Auburn, and now this Bama defense. Nick Saban cannot believe.
You can't stop him. Edwards-Helaire motion on the sidelines. He literally used the cliche, left it all out on the field.
Play soft
Next
coverage.
drive. How about
Soft
this?
coverage. No,
85
man-to-man
yards.
coverage. Smith, 7 catches, 213, 2 touchdowns. Bring on the onside kicking team. Alabama still has a chance.
All right, so we're going to do that, Joey. Good call. Alabama kicks the onside. Is this the kind of bounce you want?
But that's the guy you want catching it. Justin Jefferson, 6'3", able to high point it. Let's give Coach Joe a Gatorade back.
Unbelievable win for O and LSU, snapping that 8-year losing streak. 46-41 to final. Look at easy Joe Burrow.
We're going to be as good as we want to be. If we don't get complacent after this win, we come back to practice, keep going strong, we can get there.
He's a champ, man. He's a champ, and he missed some throws in the third and the fourth quarter, but he came back, had the winning drive. He knew he was going to do it. I'm happy for our team in the great state of Louisiana. It's been 8 years coming, man, and our team works so hard, and our coaching staff works so hard, and the whole state of Louisiana deserves this win. Our great university at LSU.
Jesse, what did LSU do well on offense?
Everything. They were totally balanced. Lots of swagger on offense. It starts with Joe Burrow, guys. He's completing 79% of his throws this year. To do that, you have to have great location. His tight end Moss here covered on the wheel route. Burrow puts the football where only his guy can make the play. Burrow also did a fantastic job throwing under duress in this one. Here, Edwards-Helaire running the corner route. Burrow knows he's going to get smacked, but he's able to follow through and deliver an accurate throw in between three defenders. Edwards-Helaire, we mentioned earlier, was catching the football. He was also running the football. You have to be able to make people miss. On this play, he makes 5 Alabama defenders miss. There was no panic in this LSU offense. Twice in the fourth quarter, Bama scored to make it a one-possession game. Both times LSU responded with touchdowns of their own. Burrow, Edwards-Helaire, sensational.
All right, so Coach O against Nick Saban hadn't gone well. He was 0 for 4 in 4 head-to-head meetings, and his teams had averaged just 8.5 points per game. The Tigers had crossed that total just past the 10-minute mark of the first quarter in T-Town on Saturday. Things for Saban and Tua didn't go according to plan.
I think he was a warrior in terms of what he did, and I think probably missing the practice that he missed over the last couple of weeks. He may not have been quite as sharp as normal, but I thought he did a good job in the game, and I'm proud of the way he competed in the game.
We wondered how healthy Tua would be coming into this one after the ankle surgery. What did you see out of him Saturday?
Numbers were good, 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. There are some moments in this game. Early on, the fumble when no one around. Just don't see him make these kind of mistakes. Throws his 3rd interception of the game. Wasn't terribly sharp. And there will be some question of Alabama whether he should have played in this game. And you'll see on this 2nd and 2. Watch the defense split. Now, a healthy Tua, you tell me he doesn't tuck this ball away and just run it in the end zone because he's sore, because he's banged up. It's later in the game. And then a bad throw out wide. And when you've seen him walking around after the game, this looks like a kid that maybe there's some questions. Should he have played at all? Because he's not 100%, but moving forward, they have Mississippi State, they have Western Carolina, games that they can win. They have Auburn at the end of the season. If Alabama's going to have a chance to stay in this thing, they have to beat Auburn. Hopefully Tua's better by then.
Yeah, it all led up to this point for the LSU game, and it was clear Tua was not 100%. Where he goes from here remains to be seen. You guys will rank Alabama later in the show to find out where they fall, perhaps in the pecking order of college football. If you will, it was a battle for College game day on Saturday because Minnesota said, hey, come watch us row the boat against Penn State, and we'll put on a show. Minnesota won 5 straight games as outright underdogs. There's virtual lock implications on this one. Penn State 6.5-point favorites. Look at old mini P.J. Fleck hanging out before. Opening drive, Sean Clifford. This was a sign of things to come.
Yeah, this was an issue. Sean Clifford really struggled in this one. Now, you need your receiver to go help you out and try to high point this football, but it's Antoine Winfield Jr. who comes down with the pick.
Ensuing drive, watch Garrett Taylor take a bad angle and watch Rashad Bateman take advantage.
This is a really good Penn State defense up until today. They gave up these kind of plays. You don't see them make these kind of mistakes. A bad angle, giving up a long touchdown, and Minnesota up early.
Those oars were out early, 7-0. Second quarter down 14-10 Penn State. Clifford pressured, again, picked off by Winfield Jr.
This is a good Minnesota defense because they get pressure on the quarterback and they take the football away. Winfield Jr. now 7 picks on the season.
Contact on K.J. Hamler. No flag was thrown. Multiple interception games in his career. First time, 3 total on Saturday. Ensuing Minnesota drive, Tanner Morgan. Watch the grab by Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, Tanner Morgan had a day, and you expect Minnesota to run the ball, but it was Tanner Morgan going downfield, one-hand catch by Johnson, gets us in the end zone, and they just kept coming as when it's seemed like Penn State was going to get back in this game. It's plays like this that kept Minnesota in the lead and kept the momentum.
I'm going to get the Pylon Cam a helmet sticker for this
it was
performance.
a good day for the Pylon.
Minnesota up 24-13. Third quarter, Clifford and Nick Bowers.
And this is right after Penn State's defense created a turnover. They forced a fumble, trying to get some of this momentum back on the road.
Failed two-point conversion. Fourth quarter now. Penn State on the 5, trying to make it a one-possession game. 4th and goal. Clifford to KJ Hamler, back of the end zone, knocked away.
I don't know that Hamler's the right person for this route. You think Freiermuth, a taller receiver. Hamler's a quick guy. Get him out in open space.
So Penn State on the 6, 3rd and 2, under 4 to go. Clifford awkwardly falls as he hands it to Journey Brown for the 6-yard touchdown. Limps off the field, but either way, ready to go. Penn State
it's a
scores.
bit of a scary moment for him. He would come back in the game, though, and try to gut this one out.
So 2:05 left, 1st and 10, Penn State 40. It's Clifford back in the game. Jahan Dotson, 49 yards.
Dotson had 3 catches in this game for 70 yards, and we know this Penn State offense, they have big ability. They won't get this one in, but they're in scoring position.
All right, so here we go. Clifford to Brown.
Watch this play. Flag is down. It will be called pass interference on the offense. Go back and watch it.
Unbelievable.
Daniel George here preventing the defender, a bit of a rub from getting to Brown. That back Penn State up 15.
All right, so 3rd and 24, Clifford to Hamler, pick.
Coming in this game, Clifford had 3 interceptions on the season. He throws 3 in this game. Minnesota is rowing the boat.
First red zone turnover of the season for Penn State. First win against the top 5 team from Minnesota since 1999. The fans, they're going to love it. The victory bell. PJ Fleck, body surfing in the locker room. Get some, PJ. Did you make a statement to the committee?
We were 1-0 in the Penn State season. Whatever people think about that and however they value that, let it be. Row the boat, Scotty Ma, go Gophers.
We knew they were a good football team. It's hard to be undefeated. And with them being undefeated and what they've been able to do, you're playing a confident football team on the road who's undefeated. And they played well enough today to beat us.
Just so excited for our team and for our fans. Everybody showing up today and packing the house maroon out. Man, I just love this city, love this state, love this team. It's an elite feeling.
Tanner Morgan, the most popular guy in Minnesota. Gophers last win over the AP Top 5 towards in 99. That was also against Penn State. Morgan, fantastic, completing 90% of his passes. That is the highest percentage in a game against the top 5 team over the last 20 seasons. Joey, I want you to show us what he did well.
Yeah, Minnesota's the 3rd best rushing team in the Big Ten. So coming in this game, you're figuring they're going to have to run the ball. But Tanner Morgan steps up. He was completing 65% of his balls before this game. He goes 18 of 20. It's the play action pass on the slant. And it seems like they did this over and over. Rashad Bateman, number 13, had 7 catches for 203 yards. Now watch Morgan's eyes to the left side. This is a zone coverage, it's cover 2. They have pressure coming around the outside. Morgan goes downfield with this ball and they make another big play. Now, this Minnesota team, on Tuesday, there were 6 teams with 2 losses ranked ahead of this team. They were sitting at 17. They were motivated in this game. It'll be interesting to see moving forward what happens.
Jeff's biggest statement Minnesota made to you on Saturday was what?
Well, it was just total team football, really. I mean, there's 17 coming into this weekend because the question is, who have they played? But now this is a statement win against who the committee had number 4. So row the battleship right now for Minnesota. They're sensational. That was a statement win.
I don't know if we get
going.
oars.
Got to get the engine.
We can't get
more
oars
like
on the battleship.
like a sonic engine for that. But you take a look at what they have coming up now. They have to be able to handle success. They're going to go on the road, play a very physical, very good Iowa team.
Yeah.
They still have Wisconsin down the road, too. But I'll say this. If Tanner Morgan plays this way, he's supposed to be a game manager. They run the ball. His accuracy really had been up and down so far this year. In this game against the best defense they played, he was sensational. On throws that travel 10 yards or more downfield, 10 of 11, 2 touchdowns. With the defense they play, if Tanner Morgan plays like this week in, week out, they can be 12-0 heading into the Big Ten title.
I just need PJ Fleck to stop with the 1-0 versus the Penn State season.
No.
Give me something.
Whatever he's doing, stay with it, because his kids are responding to it. Nobody expected Minnesota to be in this position. Now, they do have to finish it, but to be sitting at 9-0 at this point of the season, hey, that is a win. And PJ Fleck, keep rowing the boat.
Look, let's get it. There we go.
Yeah,
we're going to row it. We're going to row it until they tell
up.
us not to, because this was the day it was all supposed to stop, and it hasn't. We're going to keep on rowing here on college football finals. So much to get to, including the Ohio State Buckeyes. But we've seen this. You know, everyone yelling about the rankings. Yell. Well, guess what? Penn State and Alabama are 5th and 16th in the top 4 of the initial college football playoff rankings to lose that same week since this began 6 years ago. Bad news for those teams, none of the previous 4 made it into the playoff. It's got to stop yelling about the rankings so early. Ohio State, we knew they wouldn't have Chase Young. Would it be a factor? Answer quickly, no. Plus, Baylor needed overtime. OU needed help. What a day it was in the Big 12.
College Football Final is presented by Mazda. Feel alive.
If you missed any Big 12 football on Saturday, let me catch you up on what went on. Oklahoma hosting Iowa State. Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb, they were making this thing look simple.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb might be the best receiver in the country with the ball in his hands after the catch. Here in triple coverage goes up. 6 catches, 142 in the first half.
All right, so 9 seconds to go in the half. Jalen Hurts, blowout.
Jalen Hurts responsible for 5 touchdowns in the first half. This game is over.
Yeah, since 1940, Oklahoma 194-0 when leading by 21 points at the halftime.
Let's just start
Let's
the
go.
highlights.
Yeah, we'll just move on to the next highlight, right? All right. It's under 4 minutes to play. Iowa State trailing 42-28. No one told Brock Purdy this pass. Purdy to Sean Shaw.
Purdy came into the game averaging 320 passing yards a game, 3rd in the country, and that only took 1 minute 7 seconds to go 80 yards.
Yep, made it a 1-score game. And then Jalen Hurts, under 3 to play. Jalen, what are you doing?
Yeah, you have to eat this ball, throw it away, punt this ball, and play some defense. Jalen Hurts turns this ball over, and you just don't see this veteran make these kind of plays.
So what does Iowa State do? Charlie Kohler, touchdown, 1-point game. Guys,
go for 2.
No.
No. You're on the road.
You had all the momentum late in the game on the road.
Barry.
Go to OT,
Thank
please.
you, Jesse Palmer. You kick the extra point.
Road.
Statistically, extra point gets you this.
Number 9 team on the ropes, you go for 2.
No, you are wrong. Barry and Palmer are right. And because of it, Oklahoma wins. And Lincoln Riley says, hey, all of our goals, all still there.
Absolutely. I mean, y'all been around here the last few years like I have. You got to win tough games. And so that's a good football team. I'm just telling you right now. That's, listen, I want to play a hell of a lot better. I want to play better in the second half and blow them out worse than anybody in this room. But winning's winning, and that's a win.
Virtual lock implications in the other wild Big 12 game between Baylor and TCU. Joey had this one, 9-6. Charlie Brewer picked off by Ardarius Washington, but a false start on the play. The interception waved off. Baylor stays alive.
Yeah, and this is a Baylor offense that have been scoring about 36 points a game this season.
All right, so 51-yard field goal to tie the game. Noah Rauschenberg lines up the kick, but Matt Rule says, you know what? I'm going to put in John Mayers instead.
His own kicker.
Well, no, he switched kickers who missed a field goal earlier in the game. You know what he does? 51-yarder. I'm not missing this, coach.
And that kicker had never attempted a kick of more than 40 yards until this game.
Matt Rule,
nice game management.
Trust the gut. Go to overtime. First OT. Max Duggan into the end zone to Valence Hunt. Incredible catch. It was ruled incomplete.
Game over. Let the celebration begin. Baylor goes to 9-0. Let's get the Gatorade.
No.
Wait a minute. What?
No.
What are you reviewing?
I want you to look at his hand and forearm.
I don't know if I've ever seen a game where a receiver's gotten one hand down and he got all 5 fingers. Touchdown. Let's keep this thing going.
Madden back to the sidelines, tied at 16, double overtime. We didn't have 1 TD in regulation, and then Brewer to Denzel Mims.
This is on 4th and 6. You go to your 6'3" Mims, the long arms to pluck it out of the air.
Drop it like it's hot. 23. Brewer to Mims again.
And Brewer was just waiting for overtime. He went 5 of 8, 64 yards, got his 2 touchdowns.
New rules say you have to go for 2 in the 3rd overtime. They didn't get it. Duggan looking at a pass, doesn't see anyone, spins away from defenders.
And this true freshman quarterback can run. Look him spin, break tackles. He's in.
Touchdown.
Teach me how to Duggan.
Yeah. Refs would review the call. Take a look again. Right foot just along the sidelines. He's out of bounds. Refs changed the ruling on the field. No touchdown.
So here we go. Another big replay. This time not in favor of TCU and the Frogs. 4th and goal. They need a touchdown. This is your ball game.
You got to mention on 3rd down, a penalty moved the ball back. and then they go to the end zone. Duggan, 3 interceptions on the day. Best defense in the Big 12 is Baylor.
And a cover, dramatic covers for Joey all day. First one over TCU since 2014. That sets up Baylor and Oklahoma next week in Waco. Prime time. Look at the Big 12 standings. You know what it means. College game day, the whole thing. Big 12 getting interesting as we head to week 12. All right, so here was the story coming into the day about Chase Young. He was suspended. More on that in just a minute. With all due respect to Maryland, Chase Young was not going to be a factor in the outcome of this game. His backup, Hamilton, had a nice day.
Yeah, he sure did. This defense had a good one. 7 sacks on the day for Ohio State without the best player in the country on defense, Chase Young.
And perhaps one of the best players in the country on offense, Justin Fields, keeps it second player in OSU history with 25 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns in the season since J.T.
Seriously, pay attention to this. This might be the best onside kick you will ever see. It was like a pass. Watch this. This is perfect.
Ideal.
The one Alabama had against Clemson, the national championship.
I don't know about that.
I mean, that was pretty good.
A bit bigger game, maybe.
Yeah. KJ Hill.
This is Maryland.
I love that Ohio State's onside kicking against Maryland and then scored, and then J.K. Dobbins.
How about Ohio State putting up 705? You want to say it with me?
Yeah.
705
yards, Barry. Pretty good.
You guys are adorable. As for the current head coach, you're doing something right when 12 games into your coaching career, you've yet to address a losing locker room. That's where Ryan Day sits, just the 7th coach in major college football history to begin his career with a 12-game winning streak. Speaking of winning streaks, Clemson came into this one having won 24 straight against NC State. Again, I don't think the outcome was ever going to be in question. It's just about getting rep for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and Clemson was motivated. It came out number 5 on Tuesday in the rankings, so they came in, they put up 28 points in the first quarter, making a statement.
Career high 59 rushing yards. Don't cheat him out of career high.
Not bad.
7-0. Then Lawrence dropping back. Justin Ross.
Yeah, slipping, recovering, then dropping a dime. 8 picks in his first 7 games, but in his last 3 now, Trevor Lawrence, 9 touchdowns, no picks.
Man, what do we say when talking about Clemson? Give the ball to Etienne.
Travis Etienne, now 54 career touchdowns at Clemson, passes C.J. Spiller. He set the record.
Oh, and Clemson clinched the ACC Atlantic with the win. Hey, Dabo, what about those rankings?
Oh no, man! Hey, we're just hopefully we can, keep playing well. We'll have a shot somewhere down there. We were 5th, and so maybe we can move up in there. But again, it just doesn't really matter right now. What matters is us, taking care of the things that we control, and that's game day.
Speaking of rankings, there you have the touchscreen, and it is blank until Joey and Jesse get up there and rank their latest top 5. We can all agree about Appalachian State, 2 Power 5 wins and still alive for the New Year's 6 after going in the barnyard and beating South Carolina. First time they've ever beaten an SEC school.
To College Football Final, presented by Mazda.
So Georgia hanging out in that 6th spot at home on Saturday, taking on Missouri. No Kelly Bryant for the Tigers. First quarter, no score. Jake Fromm to George Pickens.
This is what you want to see, more consistency in the passing game. This on 3rd and 11, 2 touchdown catches for the true freshman Pickens.
And we love a good defensive highlight. Taylor Powell's pass intercepted again. He's in for Kelly Bryant. Richard LeCount returns it.
Yeah, Taylor Powell had a bit of a rough game in this one, throwing an interception here and just couldn't get comfortable in the pocket, going 10 of 22.
And guys, I tell you what, Georgia gets the win, but this not a costly win for him. Wide receiver Lawrence Cager got hurt. Trey Hill, their starting center, got hurt. Isaiah Wilson, their right tackle, got hurt. And their backup center got hurt. Again, Georgia gets the win, but perhaps some costly injuries in the process. What about Vandy and Florida? Kyle Trask to Trevon Grimes, 66 yards.
Career day for Kyle Trask, 363 yards passing. And how about Trevon Grimes, the transfer from Ohio State with a stiff arm, taking it 66 yards to the house.
Joey, what's one of our other favorite things here in the program? Little scoop and score.
Yeah, we love a little defense as Florida's able to get to the quarterback. 6 sacks in this game. Held Vandy to less than 150 yards as they just had an outstanding game all around.
This the largest shutout in conference for Florida since 1996. All right, time now to take a look at who you guys think could be in the college football playoff. with the Capital One fan vote.
All right, LSU knocks off Bama. Minnesota beats Penn State, so there's going to be a little bit of movement in Joey's and my top fives this week. Joey, we'll start with you. Who you got right now in the 5 spot?
Going to Alabama, even though they did lose their first game this season, when you look at their resume, not great. The question mark for me was Alabama or Oregon in that 5 spot, and honestly, on a neutral field, both teams have one loss. I just believe that Alabama would win that game.
Yeah, I had Bama at number 5 last week on my list, and they go and play the team that I've had number 1 all season in LSU. Only lost by 5 points. Tua wasn't 100%. Their defense definitely has issues, but right now I've got Bama at number 5. Number 4, I've got Georgia, and we know they play defense. We know they run the ball. The passing game, though, really has been inconsistent the last 4 games, but wins against Florida and Notre Dame have been impressive to me, so I've got the Bulldogs.
I agree with you with Georgia coming in at number 4. Their defense now has 3 shutouts on the season, which is second in FBS. We know they're solid there, and you're right. Jake Fromm hasn't been great, but he's been good enough to keep them at number 4.
Okay, who do you got at number 3?
At number 3, I'm going Ohio State. Cakewalk today against a Maryland team. Defense without Chase Young held Maryland to 139 yards total. Yep. And so they're sitting at number 3, still in a very solid place.
I got Clemson at number 3. They're starting to move up now, obviously, with Penn State's loss, and you'll see that with the committee as well. The last 5 games since that scare against UNC, they've been outscoring people by 208 points. When Trevor Lawrence plays this way, the way he's played the last 3 games, defense has been fantastic. They're talented enough, I think, to beat anybody in the country. So I've got Ohio State at number 2, and they just put up 73 more points this past weekend against Maryland. You mentioned Chase Young being out, but it doesn't affect their defense. Very impressed with that.
And I like Clemson at number 2. And this is a switch for me. I've kept the defending national champion at number 1 while undefeated. But LSU has just done something that hadn't been done since the 70s. They have 4 top 10 wins in their first 9 games. But I tell you what, don't jump off of this Clemson team. You talked about them outscoring people. Well, that was the only question, was their offense. They've gone 5 straight games now, scoring 45 points. Defense outstanding.
Listen, it's just impressive. LSU goes into Bama, and they snap the SEC's longest ever home winning streak at 31 games. Joe Burrow, have you heard about him? Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that guy.
Should be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. It's a balanced offense. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, also fantastic again. So, Matt, here are our top 5s, and we get set to enter Week 12 next week.
Yeah, so what is in store for college football next weekend? Take a look at the slate. You got a big one, Baylor and Oklahoma. Don't forget to give your Capital One fan vote on SportsCenter's Twitter handle on Monday. Let's pick up some highlights now. Back in the Big Ten, Wisconsin hosting Iowa. Scotty looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Jonathan Taylor had 120 yards on the ground through 3 quarters. Picked things up under 10 minutes in the 4th, breaks through the line, spins, a nice 36-yard
game.
And
against a good Iowa defense, Wisconsin's offensive line was able to be physical, paved the way for Taylor, who ran for 250 yards.
So ensuing Iowa drive, Wisconsin would make a field goal, 24-16. Nate Stanley, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and goes 75 yards.
Tracy Jr. had 5 catches for 130 yards and 1 touchdown, and this is big for Iowa's offense, a long play, which you don't see much of.
So they go for 2. Stanley QB draw.
Ooh.
Wow.
Tell you what, Stanley's a big boy, too, so you got to bring some wood if you're going to play and stop him at the goal line. Eric Burrell comes flying in from Wisconsin to make the hit.
Consider the wood brought. What a hit there, what a play, what a stop. So Wisconsin trying to run the clock out, 2:28 left. When are you going to run the clock out? Give it to that fella.
Yeah, give it to Taylor, over 250 yards in this game. And Wisconsin stays alive in the Big Ten West, but they're 2 games behind Minnesota.
Badgers get the Heartland Trophy. Iowa gets Minnesota. Final in this one, 24-22. Wake Forest and Virginia Tech honoring their retiring defensive coordinator, Bud Foster. It was Bud Foster Day. He got the lunch pay, he got the defense. Joined Virginia Tech and Hokies. They've been in the top 5 in scoring, yards, sacks, interceptions since he was the D coordinator. Why let him down?
And this is one thing that Foster's been able to do 25 years as DC, is bring creative pressures, and they get after Jamie Newman.
So Wake Forest down 12. Newman hit while throwing, picked off by Dax Holyfield. Pressure comes up the middle, and then Hendon Hooker up the gut. Bud Foster gets the win and gets carried off the field afterwards, caught up with Kelsey Riggs from the ACC Network.
So proud of our kids. For them to come back after last week's game, a heartbreaker up at Notre Dame, and it just says something about them, about Coach Fuente, his leadership. And just my hat's off to our kids. They came out and had a great week of practice off a big-time disappointment, and I like the direction we're going with these guys. We got a great group of young men. I'm just really proud and happy for them today.
How was that Gatorade bath?
It was chilly. It was a little chilly, but it was good. I'm gonna remember that for a long time.
The Hokies turning things around. You couldn't be more fitting than the Hokies defense showed out on Bud Foster Day. Since his first full season as defensive coordinator in Blacksburg, Hokies, I said it a second ago, they're top 5 in just about every significant statistical category you could want. Still ahead on college football final. Notre Dame had an ACC showdown with Duke on the road. How would Ian Book and the Irish make out? Plus, could Dicker the kicker come through for Texas? And who's the best ever to wear number 5? That and more still ahead on college football final. Notre Dame was on the road Saturday in an ACC affair, taking on Duke, and Ian Book had a nice game.
Ian Book now at 21 passing touchdowns on the season. That is a new career high.
Finds Chris Fink there. Notre Dame leads 7-0. Then same score, Chase Claypool.
Yeah, he had only completed 49% of his throws the last 3 games, but was on fire in this one. It wasn't just throwing it, too. It was running, had 139 rushing yards. This TD to Finke again.
Notre Dame wins 38-7, improves to 4-2 all-time against Duke. Kansas State and Texas, fourth quarter. This thing gets absolutely crazy. Texas leads 17-14. Keontae Ingram, 12-yard run.
And K-State was up 14-0 until Ingram starts to take over. 16 carries, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
So Texas takes the 24-14 lead, ensuing kickoff. What do you think happens? Kansas State gets right back in it. Joshua Youngblood.
And it wasn't easy for K-State to score in this one. Texas got some injured DBs back, and as a result, they slowed down Kansas State's rushing attack, so they had to find other ways to manufacture points. 98-yard return here by Youngblood.
Yeah, that'll do it. So 3rd and 14 now, just under 4 to go. Sam Ellinger to Devin Duvernay, 18-yard gain. Texas moved the chains. Later in the drive, all tied at 24. Ellinger to Duvernay again.
Duvernay may be the most reliable receiver in college football. 9 catches for 110 in this game.
All right, so that sets it up. 3 seconds left. Cameron Dicker, the kicker. Texas's first win coming back from 14 down since 2007. What a finish for the Longhorns. We about had to come back between Arizona State and USC. Keaton Slovis in the first quarter was absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and USC was trying to bounce back from a bad loss against Oregon. Good idea for Slovis to find Amon-Ra St. Brown here for 95 yards on 3rd down.
28 first quarter points for the Trojans, but here comes Joey Yellen to Frank Darby, 15-yard touchdown. They would fail the 2-point conversion. ASU had a chance to win it late. Yellen picked off.
Yellen did have 4 touchdowns in this game, but it's the 2 interceptions that's one at the end that really hurt ASU.
He started for Jaden Daniels, the other true freshman who was hurt for the Sun Devils. You have another look here. Yellen was banged up in the play. They're going to look at his injured shoulder. 31-26 the final. I said Yellen was in for Jaden Daniels, who, oh, by the way, wears number 5. That's where we are in our countdown. Not on this list by a long shot yet. But the best to wear number 5 as we celebrate college football this season. Joey, we'll start with you.
Best to wear number 5, I'm going with Reggie Bush. A very athletic playmaker, make guys miss in the open field. 2-time consensus All-American, 2-time Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year, sets FBS record for most all-purpose yards in a 3-year span at 6,500. He was electric in the open field and just fun to watch.
Let's talk running backs. You guys remember LT, LaDainian Tomlinson?
Sure.
Back when they were in the WAC, 2 times offensive WAC Player of the Year, won the Doak Walker Award in 2000. This guy ran for 406 yards in a game against UTEP. I played with him in the Senior Bowl. He was so good that the other running backs faked injuries after the first practice so that they wouldn't lose money in the NFL.
No, so I presume these are the best number 5s that we've seen. There were some other ones, but Donovan McNabb at Syracuse, 35 wins as a starter, most in school history, one of 2 Syracuse quarterbacks to be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy Award, joining Don McPherson, who, by the way, was Jesse's best to wear number 9. First team All-Big East. Any conversation about Syracuse football stops and starts with Donovan McNabb. We've been doing it all year, our countdown at 150. Next year, number 4. Looking forward to find out who we have coming up next week, as those are the best 5 we have had. Special weekend here as we pay tribute to all of our military men and women on this Veterans Day. And the top moment coming up from this weekend as we take a look at our top moment from Veterans Day, brought to you by USAA. Iowa, Wisconsin. Gregory Slattery makes a surprise appearance. What a moment as a family being honored at the game. His son Kai runs over for a big hug with his dad. I love these moments, never get enough of them. Speaking of our military, Army taking on UMass. Jabari Laws, one of 9 rushing touchdowns for Army, 83 yards.
And it's the run game. You have to take care of the quarterback, keeps the ball, breaks the long one, takes it all the way. Great blocking downfield to get this in the end zone.
So if we haven't said it enough, thank you very much to our veterans and our men and women across our military as we celebrate them this weekend. You know, we're going to also celebrate more college football in the top plays from Week 11.
This is College Football Final, presented by Mazda.
We played a little Mountain West after dark. Boise State, fourth quarter, down 17-10. Khalil Shakir, 5 yards out.
Yeah, no Hank Bachmeier for Boise State. It was tough to score points. Shakir only 2 attempts rushing, but he got that in.
Game tied at 17. Then Xavier Valladay stopped on 4th and 1.
Valladay was a workhorse. 37 carries, 124 yards, 1 touchdown, but couldn't get the 1 yard that mattered.
All right, at OT, after Boise State made it 20-17, Cooper Raw misses. Ball game. Boise State survives 20-17. What about SMU trying to bounce back after their loss to Memphis a week ago? Third quarter, they've got East Carolina. Shane Buechele to Xavier Jones. He had another big one.
Yeah, he sure does. He's got great vision and athletic, the ability to cut, get into the open field, and he shows you the wheels. 157 yards, 3 touchdowns for Jones.
So SMU up 45-37 at that point. Fourth quarter, ensuing drive for ECU. And Holton Ahlers continues just to put up numbers.
Ahlers had 6 touchdowns in this game as East Carolina is trying to get their first win in the American Conference.
Ahlers just loves slinging it. ECU pulls within 1. Very next drive, Buechele to Kylan Granson. Granson had a nice Saturday.
How about Buechele getting through his progression? It's the 3rd time in the last 4 games he's thrown for over 400 yards. He threw 5 TDs against ECU.
SMU back up 8, so then ensuing kickoff. Josiah Hatfield receiving the kick, fumbles it. SMU great field position, and Buechele to James Prochet.
SMU is tied with Navy in the American West. Their next game on the 24th is against Navy.
First 9-win season for SMU since 1984. Congratulations to them. Let's go hurry up offense, Ivy League style. Dartmouth
Get smart.
wicked smart. Yankee Stadium, battle of unbeatens. Tavish Rice takes it 21 yards.
You got to tote the rock to beat Princeton. 225 yards. Buddy Tevens gets the win. And how about Dartmouth? They snap Princeton's 17-game win streak.
You want to talk about snapping streaks. In overtime, Columbia gets the interception, and they snap a 15-game losing streak to Harvard, getting the win 17-10. You like them apples? Cornell, Penn, fourth quarter, tied at 14. Owen Goldsberry to Eric Marks.
Nick Robinson comes in this game for Ryan Glover. Starting quarterback got hurt, went out. He goes 5 of 6 for 69 yards and 1 touchdown as Penn comes back and wins the game.
You guys feel smarter?
For sure.
I for sure could. I've got Pi down 3.14.14.14. What were you thinking, Vandy? Down 49-0, trying to kick a field goal. Why?
They don't want to get shut out. I'm good with that.
Get that 0 off the board.
You don't want a 0.
Look, I was just asking a question.
It's a long ride home.
Jumped down,
0, Barry.
Jumped down my throat. Yeah, how'd that work out for them?
3.
How'd it work out for them? Look at this kid. That hurts, too. Because it's cold, your hair's getting pulled.
But nobody helping. Give the guy some help.
ND helmet fail. And my favorite uniform fail of the week, these 2 bozos.
It was a big day. It was the first ranking out, so you got to bring your A game, bring your good
stuff.
And we were on fire in our locks. Our locks have been so good.
Operative word there was
let's
work.
go with the uniform.
Of all the stuff you guys have in your closet, you guys had to wear the same thing.
Yes, we look good.
At least Herb Street
Don't
maintained
hate on the Gucci
professionalism there. Which one of you was wearing Gucci?
Maybe both.
Maybe not. Helmet stickers. Big Saturday. We'll hand them out. Coming up next.
College Football Final is presented by Mazda, Feel Alive, and in part by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
All right, we have another college football playoff top 25 ranking show. The exclusive reveal, 7 p.m. Eastern. Reese and the guys, including these two next to me, will be there, along with committee chairman Rob Mullins. I'm hoping, gentlemen, text each other, coordinate this week. Like, I'm going to wear...
We're going blue.
Blue, I love it.
Blue.
Or maybe burgundy again.
All right, well, this is international interim coach Odell Hagan from Florida State, based in Boston College. They were honoring Wells Crowther in the red bandana game. Virtual lock implications for Jesse here. Dennis Grossell, 1-yard run, ties it at 24. 2 minutes to play. James Blackman and DJ Matthews.
This is really a fantastic win for Odell Haggins, filling in now since they fired Willie Taggart. They also lost potential first-round pick at defensive tackle for the rest of the season due to injury. Florida State goes on the road and gets a great win.
38-31. Cal Washington State, virtual lock implications for Joey. 51 was the over. Perhaps the best backdoor cover man I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Devin Monster, 13 yards for the touchdown.
I didn't think I had a shot here. Every game Washington State has had this season has been over 51, and I'm at the end, and I'm begging.
Look at
for some
17
offense.
seconds. The point total right now is 47, and at this point...
Call a timeout.
Where's
11?
Look at this.
Got it.
Look at this.
Thank you. Or do that. Get me.
It was
over.
legitimately a touchdown just for the over because it meant nothing in the game.
I like Mike Leach.
Yeah, that was for the folks in Vegas. Now, Jesse's run came to an end. He was 0-2 this week, still 13-8 on the season. Still awesome on the season. Joey continues to stay on fire. 2-0 now, 16-5 on the year.
Yeah, 29-13. We are killing it.
I mean, again, if you guys aren't laying money on these two picks, you should. Top plays from Saturday. Starting with number 5, Duke and Notre Dame. Ian Book's pass tipped, and Michael Carter II picks it off.
Oh my God. We were waiting to see who was going to dive.
Yeah,
Which one is coming in to get this ball?
Off the helmet.
Off the helmet.
Johnny on the spot.
Spot.
See
Right.
how we say the same thing
You
here?
guys,
Same
you guys
outfits,
dress the same,
lines.
talk the same. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's adorable. Illinois State, South Dakota State, Brady Davis, to lineman Drew Himmelman. Big fella.
He's a big
Run him
fella.
over. Oh, athlete.
And he's 6'10". Look
Watch
at
this.
Himmelman stretch this thing out, showing off his skew.
What would happen to your drawers if you saw that guy running at you? USC, Arizona State. Matt Fink throws it up. Drake London.
That was bad from the beginning. Oh, but his receiver bails him out. Cardinal sin. Looks like the defender's going to pick this off.
I think Barrie tried to jump up and get that ball.
Led to a pivotal field goal in that. Number 2, Missouri State, Southern Illinois. Peyton Hustling throws it up. Jordan Murray makes the grab.
We got to get a closer look at this. It's hard to. Oh, right behind the back, one hand, it brings it in, whole body in bounds.
Number 1, actually, I loved this one. Thaddeus Moss. That'd be review, but still awesome.
This is fantastic. You got Moss running the wheel route. Now, initially, this was rule of catch. They would look at it again, and it looked like Moss was out of bounds. He was forced out, reestablished his feet back inbounds for the beautiful snag. And a great throw, too.
He got 2 in, just a toe tapper. All right, gentlemen, best part of the program. Helmet sticker time. Joey, lead us off.
I got Terrell Bernard, linebacker for Baylor, the best defense in the Big 12, had 19 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception, as Baylor gets to 9-0 in their
Well, sick of
well.
Yes, they do.
Sick.
Jordan Love, at quarterback for Utah State, guys. He's had a bit of a disappointing season this year. Statistically, he goes 30 of 39, 388 passing yards, 2 touchdowns against Fresno State. Leads the game-winning drive. They kicked a field goal to win as time expired, so a nice bounce-back game for Jordan Love.
Could have done Tanner Morgan. I wanted to do Tanner Morgan, but his big play receiver, Rashad Bateman, gets the helmet stick for Minnesota as they continue to row the boat. He had 7 catches, 203 yards. First Golden Goat receiver, over 200 yards in a Big Ten game. Big day for Minnesota and Bateman.
I got Corey Fields, DeMontrez Burrows from South Carolina State.
Yeah, you do.
This is a first. 2 guys in 1 school get a helmet sticker. Fields threw for 7 touchdowns. Burrows caught 5 of them. Both of those are school records.
What are we doing?
We're coming in. We're bringing it in, Barrie.
Wow.
We don't have a helmet.
Mail us a helmet.
But we're going to get it in there.
Love the folks of Orangeburg, South
As they
Carolina.
beat Howard.
Send us a helmet.
All right, as a founding member of the Joe Burrow fan club here for the 2019 season, Joe Burrow went 31 of 39 against Alabama. He 3 threw touchdowns, but he had 457 total yards. Remarkable front runner for the Heisman. They have a swagger this year.
This
I
is
love
because
it.
of
Joe
Joe
Burrow.
This is just helmet stickers.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire should have gotten one, but Joe Burrow was good. Jaron Williams benched, started again Saturday. 6 touchdown passes. You know what that is? That's a Miami program record. Of all the quarterbacks in Miami, Jaron Williams, you're now tops in touchdown passes.